Hey, we're Paul here with Tim. We're here with Java Sessions. We're going to be talking a little bit about getting started in doing a part-time business. So one of the things we're going to cover is your why, your what, and then your how. So Tim has actually had a lot more experience in starting businesses than I have. He's also a manager of a business, somebody else's, not his own yet. But again, it's one of those things that needs to be covered. And the first part is discovering your why. So we're going to throw this out there, and finding your why is like, it's a personal thing. What do you think?
Actually, and it really is, to be flat out honest, it is a personal thing. Because if you sit down and let's just say you're sitting at home, okay, and you're planning out a vacation, okay, you're taking your family, let's say we want to go to Disney World. Well, you sit down and you plan out, okay, why I want to do this. What do I need to make happen to do this? Do I need to save money? Do I need to contact a travel agency? And then there's all these little questions you start asking yourself. But why did you want to go to Disney World? Well, why? Because you wanted your kids, your family to have an experience. Honestly, most parents, and myself included, I don't take my kids on vacation to get away and relax. No, unless your kids are angels. I take them because I want them to have that experience. I want them to learn something in that time we spend together. It's the same thing with Java Sessions, by the way. It's the same reason why. So why would we start our own endeavor? When I did my first business endeavor, I literally, not a joke, said, I want to make $1 million. That's actually what I wanted to do. That was my goal. That was my why. And to be honest, I actually did that. In the second year of our business, we actually hit like $1.6 million, in what we made in our products, goods, and services. Okay. I literally could say for the first time in my life, I was a millionaire. Now, 6 months later, due to economic conditions, business conditions, contracts, and everything else, it went.
Time to rebuild everything. And it's the why that gets your feet on the floor and gets you moving. Like for me, I want to make sure my wife doesn't have to go and take a gig. I don't want to have to take a gig that I hate. I had to take a job, not for the money, but for the insurance. And it's one of those things where you go, I don't want to ever be put in that position again. That's why I'm going a business. I want my wife to be secure. I want to have a secure future. I mean, I'm fortunate that I'm one of the few people probably left that still gets a pension. Mm-hmm. Pensions are a thing of the past. It's like 401ks now that follow you, and you're dependent on the stock market and everything else. So if the stock market tanks, you're in trouble. The biggest thing is getting debt-free. I want to be totally debt-free. I want a house that's paid off. I want all that, and I want maybe 2 years of expenses in the bank. I think that would be the ultimate. Mm-hmm. But my whole thing is taking care of the family and making sure that we don't have to be put in positions again where we're taking jobs that we hate. The job I originally took was with bodybuilding.com. It was a great company. It's just that I wasn't a fit for them. I was doing customer service, and I was hoping to go and work some of their shows and stuff. Unfortunately, when I met with the CEO, the next week, the company got rid of him. And my dreams went down at that, and also got basically let go from there because I wasn't great at customer service and on the phone systems. So I had to take a second job where I became a bus wrangler. I basically went into a place, and it was they did what they call judicial collection. So I basically went into a small room with a prisoner and said, "Lift your shirt, drop your pants, pee in this cup." So definitely not my dream job, and I ended up keeping that for 2 years just till my wife finished her doctorate, and we were able to move on from there. But it was like the worst 2 years of my life, and I said, I am never going to repeat that again. So, well, the other good thing that came out of it was between clients. Now, part of the thing was I got to know better with the prisoners than I did the staff I worked with. They were just a piece of work. So, but in between clients, now, these guys were playing video games and just, basically, not talking to anybody, just sat with their phones and played video games. I was going and working on finding out how to do internet marketing and meeting different people in that arena. I was real fortunate along the way. Early on, I got to meet this guy called Russell Brunson, and this guy was amazing. When I first met him, he was at his place, and he had just pulled in a Ferrari that he won in a internet marketing contest. And when I went in, I wanted to get a book that he had just published. I figured they'd have it at the office. So he came out of the office, and he's in jeans, some faded jeans. He's barefoot and an old T-shirt. He goes, "Hey, what can I do for you, dude?" So I was like, "Cool." Long story short, my wife got her degree. We were able to get out of there, and that's how we got to the basis of this. I want to help other people so they don't have to be in the position I was and take a job that they hate. A lot of people think that, they're in a job and they feel that they can't do anything else. Well, I'm here to tell you, everybody has the potential. Not everybody will take me up on that, though. Anybody can, most won't, is the bottom line.
And you know what the reality is of that? Again, think about it. 100 people in a room, all interested in being an entrepreneur, all interested in building their own business. Realistically, 10 minutes into the conversation with them, 50% of them aren't going to make it.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
10. And then
there's no passion, there's persistence, and they just are laughing.
And 30 minutes into it, another 15 will get up and walk out.
Yeah.
And then the reality is, by the time you're done, there's 3, 4, maybe 5 people that'll make it out of that group.
Yeah, it's not for everybody, and that's a key thing to realize. I think you have to get to a point where you're either desperate enough or pissed off enough where you just go, you know what, I'm tired of trading hours for dollars, and I want to make some money. And I think that's how a lot of businesses start. It's amazing, too, how many people who got laid off in the last recession started new businesses. Out of bad stuff comes opportunity. I mean, out of some of the things that happened with this last COVID thing is all the businesses that got started. People started making masks. More and more drive-throughs started happening at restaurants because people couldn't go in and sit, so they started making a market for...
Well, and even then, things like DoorDash and Uber Eats and things like that are all born. I mean, they were around, but their heyday has come into being because of things like the pandemic and stuff like that.
The other thing is, companies don't have to be centralized in a brick and mortar anymore. It's amazing. Like, Uber was built basically with 20 virtual employees, and it became $1 billion company. $1 billion company, man, that's pretty dang cool. You're seeing the age, too, of people who can scale because of the power of the internet. The cool thing is, when you work and you trade hours for dollars, you only have so many hours in a day. The opportunity to leverage time and utilize the internet that works 24/7, you're making money while you sleep, which is, I think, pretty cool. There's so many different ways. You can have your own product. You can sell somebody else's product and make a commission on it. It's called affiliate marketing. I just did a recent review of smart affiliate marketing, and Adrian Brambilla has a channel where he's basically taken people and taught them how to do the shorts reviewing Amazon products, and then they get a commission on it. That's huge. Never in history has this happened before.
Well, and that's part of the first part of the puzzle for us, right? Because there's a lot of there's a lot of ways, but you've got to decide what that why is, and you've got to stick with it.
That falls into our next category, which is the what. What do you pick? Most people got probably like 8 different ideas. I know, and I'm guilty as the next guy. And I probably have 3 different guys come up to me and say, "Hey, idiot, pick one." You're spreading yourself thin, and it's like you're not making way on anything. Part of that comes into you start on one, and now if you're trying to do something else, you lose time. So when you do something renting, you have plenty of focus. You don't lose time. If you're trying to do 2 things, you lose 20% of your time because you go, "Oh, I'm going to work on this," and now you got to re-ramp up and get all your stuff ready, and you lose a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
And for a bit, you do three things. You're losing like a half hour. You're not accomplishing damn near anything.
Right. Well, and that was my problem initially. Because when I did my first business back in 2008, that was my only focus. It was my only focus, 100 hours a day, 7 days a week. I basically literally almost lived in the office, for the first probably 3 or 4 months, right? Now, this second go around, for me, round number 2, for me is a little bit different though, because I have this focus with Java Session, and it is my primary focus, but I've also kind of learned a little bit that I can help out some other entrepreneurs here and there, but you got to be very careful. You don't want it to consume or cause you to miss the focus that you're working on right now.
Well, and I think that's a big part. I mean, our podcast is to help inform people. The side business is like Tim has Matteo, which is a media company. So this is like a tool to help Matteo become a bigger agency and a media dynasty.
Right. They're all related.
Yeah.
To one another.
To that, and this is a tool to help the other one, which falls into another thing is you got to start becoming a student of what's happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
You need to learn internet marketing. You need to know what keywords are. You need to know where's your audience at. I think the key thing is not everybody's your customer.
And truly understanding who's not your customer is just as important as your customer avatar.
The customer avatar, you have to have your avatar, and ours is we want to help people become debt-free and become successful. That's our whole mission, basically. We want to help people see different ways that they can go, and we want to offer up different possibilities.
Right.
I met a lady in Boise who's making good money. She's self-sufficient, selling worm casings, which is basically worm crap. So she sold the dirt, and then they had what they call worm tea. It was a small business, and her target market was gardeners, and it's huge amongst gardeners. Who knew? I know I didn't. It's kind of like, the worm crap is her bread and butter. I'm like, yeah, right, okay. But she was a cool lady. Kind of looked like somebody, like one of the hippies out of the 60s, but man, people were lined up buying her stuff. And it's like finding that, and everybody's going to have their niche. It's like the road guy who was also at that same show. He was making a killing. He was making $3,000 a day selling personal pizzas out of a wood-fired pizza oven that was there. And I thought it was so cool because I thought it was cool enough. I bought 3 of them. It was a cool weekend. But the whole thing is finding what you love and then modeling who's also doing it. Now, you got to keep in mind, how many people are in the United States right now? What is it like?
No, it's something, right. It's well up there into hundreds of millions of people.
So there's room in the marketplace is my whole point. It's like when you go and you look at the bread part of the grocery store. How many different people are marketing bread? Normally you go in, there'd be like, in the old days, there'd be like 3, 4, maybe. Going down, there's got to be, 20?
Yes.
You got gluten-free, you've got protein added, you got the ones with the wheat, you just sit there and it's like a whole aisle is dedicated to bread. There's room in the marketplace for everybody. Get rid of that scarcity mindset and realize there's room for everybody, and there's enough to go around. There's so far too many that have a scarcity mindset instead of that there is that plenty to go around.
Well, and kind of taking a step into that, what also is, and you mentioned finding your niche. If you want to be honest, if you think you've hit your niche, dig a little deeper. See what's a smaller niche underneath that. Because the reality is, just like the example, there's 50 types of manufacturers of bread all on one shelf. The reason there's 50 types of bread is because there's people looking for those specific types. There's 50 of them there, right? Well, how do you differentiate yourself? And I realize that's going to be a separate talk all down the road. But when you're looking at your rep, don't say to yourself, okay, I see what NBC's doing, and I want to do what they're doing. Okay, way too big, way out of your scale, especially for part-time. Go down and say, hey, I'm going to reach the 45-year-old male wearing that tie, working 40 hours a week, maybe 50, maybe 60 hours a week in a cubicle somewhere, typing on a keyboard for somebody else. If that's the target, that's what you're looking for as part of your RET, those are the people you want to help. Those are the people you want to reach. Don't tell yourself, oh, I'm going to reach 50 million people. Don't start that way, because you'll end up in a failure.
And that's a huge point. I think the other key thing is focus in on your niche, like you were talking about. I mean, I'll never forget driving down one of these backcountry roads, and it was, so-and-so CPA and small engine repair. And I went out there with a picture with side business. That whole thing blew me away. This guy's side business was doing small engine repair, which, God bless him, man. He's out there and he's trying to crank out a business. But build one and build it so you can scale it, And in each area, there can be different, like in the fitness area. There are women. There's a lady who has a great program out there. Her name's Natalie Hodson. And she was a fitness model who basically wound up wetting her pants and developed an exercise on camera while doing an exercise video. And she took that and developed a program for women who have had kids and needed to, develop their core muscles so they can do exercises and things like that. And she went on to go and build this thing. And in the first 6 months, because of her quality marketing, she had learned marketing and had a great blog post and a good following. She made $1.8 million in 6 months. I thought that was huge. The other thing she did, she was very personal about it, and for her it was a personal thing. So she told her personal story, got that out there, and she also then blended in, after she was successful at the one, she made a digital cookbook that was huge. She made another $375,000 that year with a digital cookbook. They didn't even have a physical product. It's digital download. She was selling it. And I'm like, and right then and there, it hits you. First off, the amount of money you can make with a digital product. And everybody has a skill. Maybe you know how to make pizzas. You worked at Tony's Pizza place for 20 years, and you became an expert at making it at home. You can develop a channel. You can sell pizza pans, cutters, and things that are related just to pizza. There's a whole niche market out there, and you have to dig down. When you go to a lot of these places, you just go down the road, you see it. There's so-and-so, Bridgestone tire. Well, they're not selling engines. They're selling tires, and that's why they're the biggest in their business.
Right.
There's other areas, when you go to an ice cream store, they don't sell hamburgers. They sell ice cream. That's what they do.
I mean, in your business idea, the one that you want to focus on, niche it down and keep digging it until you find something that you know is going to help you get started. Don't go too big, and I hate to say this, but don't go too small.
Exactly.
It's a finding a balance.
One of the coolest things, and I was flipping through the other day, and I came across this outfit, and all they did, they're making a killing. And all they make is dog harnesses and dog collars. Oh, and they make leashes.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do cats. They don't do birds. They said, instead, we're just going to do dogs.
These 3 items.
And there's people out there that just do cats. So again, it's getting specific. Now, the how. I think that's going to be our other thing. Let me double check on time. How many minutes we got left there?
Okay.
Right.
I got you.
All right, so just a real quick, we'll cover it in our next episode, is the how. And basically, we're going to also show you how to model people and not copy them, model people and see what they're doing. Stay tuned with us for the next episode of Java Sessions, and we're going to talk about the how. I'm Paul.